Hi, this is Qralloq and welcome to Gamers Explain Qralloqian Lore. Here in this video, I'm going to discuss how to create a custom character sheet, how to use it in the game, and how to share it with others. So I'm going to share my screen and let's just quickly get started with some basic character sheet development. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to characters in Gamers Plane. I'm going to go to the end and create a new template. So at the bottom here, create a new character, template, fake. Let's call it GXP. So I'm going to create this. This creates, I'm going to give it a name up here. I'll tell you why in a minute. Um, well, I'll tell you now. The reason for having a character name is you need a character name in that field in order to use it within a game in its inline post abilities. And I'll explain with that in a little bit. So this is simply a text box where there's some formatting things, like we could make things bold or what have you, but you could say name Bobbert the wizard, and he's a Oniromancer, wizard of the dreams. He's level 5, and he's got some skills like he can mangle dreams, and when he does that, he gets a 1d20 plus 12. And he can also haggle for turnips, which are dream food, of course, but he's not so good at that because his nose is stuck in a book, so only gets a +2. Okay, there's our complete character. Now, what does this look like? So this is just straight text, so it just shows up as straight text in your character sheet. Now we can format things a little bit better. For example, we could make this into a nice table so things line up. If we put a table tags, you see the square brackets, you see table and slash table, very similar to a markup language like HTML. Then what goes in the middle are each row. We can separate rows into columns by putting a vertical bar, vertical bar, vertical bar. And when I preview that, everything's nicely lined up. We can make that a little more compact by giving the table the compact attribute, and that shortens it so it doesn't take up the whole screen. You could also make it zebra, which kind of gives you, light and darker lines to make it read easy to read across. You could make the first row a heading, darker heading. Then you could say bit 1, column break, bit 2, or value preview. And then you can see that puts it into the HT, makes that first row dark. So you can give it, headings. The other thing we could do is we could make these skills a role table so that we can use it in a game in order to actually automate roles for us. So I'm going to make a table and I'm going to give it that roles attribute. Maybe I'll give it compact too. I'm going to skills, roles. Make sure to end the table with that tag, and then I'll put a column break in here as well. And then if we preview that, so now you can see there's a roles table. The other thing I really like to do is use the abilities tag. So abilities is equal to, let's call it notes. You put spells in here, all kinds of stuff like that. With all these tags, we want to end them with we want to close the tag, right? So an abilities chart / abilities to end. Now each line we put in here, if we start it with a hashtag symbol, then that will create a drop down in our thing. And we don't have, we could have like Here is the epic history of Bobbert, the early years. And then I'm going to put nothing of note happened, although he ate many turnips. Later years to be determined. Okay. It seems very silly, doesn't it? So now the notes section with that abilities tag creates something that's editable within the game. You don't actually have to edit the character sheet to edit this stuff. So if I click these little drop downs, you can see it hides and will reveal things that are in there. Now I can go through and I can just edit these. I should always save this sheet before I start messing with things. So you have to save the sheet. Crucial rule. If you don't save it, then stuff doesn't stick around. And then you get mad. Okay, so let's give this thing an avatar too. I'm going to choose a file. Hopefully nothing too provocative shows up in here, but we're going to add Sobek. Now I'm going to save and exit. Oh, there's a picture of the Egyptian god Sobek is now as an avatar. So in a game, this is just a game I use to test things. So I can submit a character. Now I had thought I had named that template fake. Template GXP. Ah, yes. Okay, so template GXP. Find it. I have a lot of character sheets. You know what I didn't do? Didn't refresh. I preloaded that and need to refresh in order to, because it loads that text box, the drop-down list when it loads the page. So refreshing now that I've created this page. So I've submitted it to the game. So you can see here, template GXP is now in the game. If I go into the forum and I go down to here, maybe it's GXP testing. So I can now post as that template. Okay. Also, if you go down here below the text box, you see these characters. Span is a character I created for a single character playthrough of a Pathfinder adventure. There's another template I'd worked on. So this template, you can see if I click it, this is exactly a preview of what we had in that we just created. So we can see these values. This is just text, like it's not actually editable. Though I can change these things. So I click that quill icon and now I can just type stuff. Close that again. So the later years, that's now that edit. But I can also click one of these buttons. So I just click that button and you can see it just added a new role. It added the first part as the reason for the role. It added the actual dice, whatever your dice nomenclature is. It detects that it's a dice roll, and adds it to the roll. And then so you can always have to add text to post before you can actually post it. You can preview things. So preview, you can see the test. You can see that when I test this, it's going to put the avatar I chose and the name as the poster, and you'll have my name as Qralloq right below it. But it doesn't show you a preview of the roles because that would be cheating. I post. There. Now it's actually made the role in line, and there you got it. That is a custom character sheet. Now, what the last thing I want to show you is how to share this character sheet with somebody else. So all of this is really just this text, other than the avatar. So if I go Control A and copy, and I go in back into my post here, I can put a test of character sheet sharing. Okay, now the next part I'm going to show you is called char sheet. So this again is a BB code tag created by the wizards at exPlane. I think Adam probably. And what goes in between these two tags is the character sheet. So this all of the BB code that I had in that template. If I go preview now, that does not work in preview mode. So if I post that, I did something wrong. Oh, I got to give it a name. Equals template for GXP. So I see equals, it's in quotation marks. And now I'm going to save. Oh, look, there it worked. So you see this little box. It puts the whole character sheet in pink. Now, this preview isn't exactly perfect. There are some instances where it doesn't quite show you exactly what, but what's really cool is this create character button on the right. So if you create a character sheet for your game and let's say it's a unique game like Neuromancers and Dragons or something, then you could post this character sheet that you've created for your character, for your players, and then type create character. And then when they click that button, it asks them for the name for the character sheet, which in my first one was template GXP. And this is going to be PC version. So this is just going to be the name of the character sheet that'll show up in their lists. And then there, it opens it right in the editor on, and then they can make all of those, any changes they need to, including giving an avatar and that sort of thing. I suppose I'll show you one more thing that I really like doing. So you notice that in this character sheet, if we go back into here and I look at the template, I can't edit this stuff easily. And if you're going to share it with somebody else, you probably want to make it easier. They could just go in, click edit, the pen icon in the top right, and then change this stuff. But you can make it a little bit easier by putting square bracket, underscore, equals, and close that bracket. So if we do this with each of these fields, then why might we do this? I'm going to save and exit here. I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to close this, reopen it so it reloads it. And now you see those lines, these are editable. So I'm not even editing the character sheet. I'm in the game. This is the game, right? And this is just the preview of the character sheet, but I can edit the sheet. And so I can call him Robert the Mystic. And he is a plunderer. level 1. There. Now, if I go back to this template, because remember that this template is that character sheet, and I reload it, Bobbert's now, those changes have been saved in the actual character sheet. The actual character sheet, if you list your all characters, and I probably have like 400 of them, so your view of this will probably look much different than mine. So you can see there's the template GXP, there's the PC version that I made by creating click character, and so Bobbert the Mystic. And this one I created, I hadn't made those changes to, so it remains Bobbert the Wizard, because that is what was in this code that I shared. Anyway, thank you for watching. It was a little bit of a longer video, but there's many, many, many things you can do with BB code. You can do some math, you can do some logical tests, you can set up columns, you can change colors, fonts, font sizes, you can put in graphics, all that kind of stuff. And you'll find that stuff in or the basic guidelines. So if you go to forums, go down to guides and general guides, then you'll see a couple things. One is the public repository of custom game sheets, which is sheets that people have made, custom game sheets. And so there's a big list of them. And then you also see Adam's Gamers Plane BB Code Guide. And so this is full of things like this, like creating checkboxes and using variable names for calculations, that sort of thing. Public repository, if you're looking for a game, look in here. I maintain this every time somebody posts a new game. I add it to the index at the beginning. Hopefully I haven't missed any, but there are a lot. I think this is a recent one, well, 22. And so here you can see people have created a char sheet tag with a create character button automatically populated, and then just the list of what they've created. Some other ones, they've used a snippet code instead of char sheet. And when they do that, that creates, so Tales from the Loop. Let's go into characters, all characters. We're gonna create a new one. How about Johnny Delete Me? Okay. Now, when you first create, hate it when things don't show me what I want. When you create a new character, here we go. Load templates. Just took a while for it to load. So these templates, if somebody's put something in the snippet tag, so the kind of yellow box there, I showed you Tales from the Loop, then you can just load that code without doing char sheet, but instead using this load template. And so here's what Hero created for Tales from the Loop. And so you can see some cool things, some checkboxes, you see some columns have been used, and yeah, it's functional character sheet. So this is Qralloq, and you've been watching Qralloqian lore on Gamers exPlane. Thank you.